There was a time in my life when I thought I was doing everything right. I met this incredible woman, smart, beautiful, and kind. I wanted to impress her, so I did what most men would do. I complimented her, bought her thoughtful gifts, and tried to show her I cared. But deep down, something felt off. She was polite, she smiled, but there was a distance I couldn't bridge. One evening, after a nice dinner, I mustered up the courage to ask her, "Is there something wrong? You seem a bit distant." She looked at me for a moment and then said something I'll never forget. "You're a great guy, but I just don't feel connected to you. It's like you're trying too hard, but I still don't really know who you are." Those words hit me like a punch to the gut. I walked away that night feeling defeated and confused. I had done everything I thought I was supposed to do, so why did it feel like I'd failed? For weeks, I replayed that moment in my mind, trying to figure out what went wrong. And then it hit me. I wasn't connecting with her on a deeper level. Sure, I was showing effort, but I wasn't showing me. I wasn't being authentic, and I wasn't giving her the emotional depth she needed to truly trust me. Looking back, I realize I was trapped in the same cycle most men find themselves in. We try to impress women with surface-level actions, but we miss the bigger picture. Women don't just want to see what you can do for them. They want to feel who you are at your core. They crave emotional connection. But how can they connect with you if you're too afraid to be real? If you've ever felt like this, like you're doing everything right but still falling short, then this is for you. I want you to know that it's not about how much effort you put in. It's about putting the right kind of effort into building a connection that lasts. In this video, I'm going to share 7 powerful ways to create a deep emotional bond with a woman. These aren't tricks or surface-level tactics. They're timeless principles rooted in emotional intelligence and Stoic philosophy, skills that high-value men use to not only attract women, but also build trust, respect, and admiration. By the end of this video, you'll understand exactly what it takes to set yourself apart and build connections that aren't just meaningful, but magnetic. Stick with me, and let's get started. Number 1. Integrity. Be a man of your word. If there's one trait that every high-value man must master, it's integrity. Yet, in today's world, integrity is becoming increasingly rare. Many men fail to realize how much their words matter. A single broken promise can do more damage than you think. When a woman realizes she can't rely on your word, she begins to question everything about the relationship. Imagine this. You promise to call her at 8 p.m. She's waiting, checking her phone, only to realize it's now 9 p.m. and there's still no call. She tells herself, maybe he's busy. But then it happens again and again. Eventually, she stops making excuses for you and starts seeing you as unreliable. That's how trust erodes. And without trust, there is no connection. Integrity is about more than just keeping promises. It's about aligning your words and actions. It shows her that you're dependable, and this dependability creates a sense of security. Women value men they can count on because it signals strength and stability, 2 qualities they instinctively seek in a partner. Now, this doesn't mean you need to be perfect. Even high-value men make mistakes. But the difference lies in how you handle those mistakes. When you fail to follow through on a promise, own up to it. A simple, sincere apology can go a long way. It's not about avoiding failure. It's about being accountable when it happens. In Stoicism, integrity is seen as a cornerstone of character. Marcus Aurelius wrote extensively about living in alignment with one's principles. For a Stoic, integrity isn't optional. It's essential. When your actions match your words, you not only gain respect from others, but also build self-respect. So how can you practice integrity in your daily life? Start with the small things. If you tell her you'll text her at a certain time, do it. If you commit to being there for an important event, follow through. Over time, these small, consistent actions build a foundation of trust that no grand gesture could ever replace. On the other hand, if you're constantly making promises and failing to deliver, you're sending a clear message. Your words don't mean much. This can leave her feeling uncertain and undervalued. Research shows that rebuilding trust after it's broken takes 5 times the effort compared to keeping trust intact. So why dig yourself into a hole when you can avoid it altogether? The power of integrity lies in its simplicity. It doesn't require grand gestures or extraordinary effort. It's about showing up, keeping your word, and being a man she can rely on. When you do this consistently, you'll notice a shift, not just in how she sees you, but in how you see yourself. Integrity isn't just for her, it's for you. It's a practice that strengthens your character and builds a reputation of reliability. And when you embody integrity, you won't just earn her trust, you'll earn her respect. Number 2, authenticity. Show your true self. Most men make a critical mistake when trying to connect with women. They pretend to be someone they're not. Maybe it's fear of rejection, or maybe they think they need to impress her with an idealized version of themselves. Whatever the reason, this approach always backfires. Women are incredibly intuitive, and sooner or later, they'll see through the facade. When that happens, any respect or trust you've built is gone. Think about this. You meet someone you really like. You exaggerate your achievements, act more confident than you feel, or pretend to share her interests. At first, it might work. She might smile, laugh, and even agree to spend more time with you. But as the relationship progresses, the cracks in your story begin to show. She starts noticing inconsistencies. The man she thought she knew begins to feel like a stranger. That's the trap of pretense. It's exhausting for you and disappointing for her. Why? Because deep down, everyone values authenticity. It's a quality that's rare and refreshing in today's world, where so many people hide behind masks. Authenticity says, "This is who I am, take it or leave it." And that level of self-assurance is magnetic. Authenticity isn't about being perfect, it's about being real. Women don't want perfection, they want honesty. When you're authentic, you're not just showing her who you are, you're giving her the freedom to be herself as well. This creates a mutual sense of trust and understanding that forms the foundation of any deep emotional connection. Let's bring Stoicism into the picture. The Stoics believed in living in alignment with your true self. Marcus Aurelius, in his Meditations, reminded himself daily to act with honesty and integrity. For a Stoic, authenticity is not just a virtue, it's a way of life. By being true to yourself, you avoid the stress and anxiety that comes from pretending. You become free. But here's the question: how can you practice authenticity in a way that strengthens your connection with women? Start with honesty. If you're not sure about something, say so. If you have flaws, don't hide them. Instead, own them with confidence. For example, if you're not great at cooking, but she invites you to a dinner date, say, "I'd love to help, but you might regret letting me near the kitchen. I'm more of a cleanup guy." It's honest, it's lighthearted, and it shows you're comfortable in your skin. Next, stop agreeing with everything she says just to win her approval. If you have a different opinion, express it respectfully. This doesn't mean being argumentative, but showing that you're not afraid to stand by your beliefs. Women respect men who are firm in their values and aren't afraid to share their perspectives. Finally, drop the act. Don't overstate your accomplishments or pretend to be someone you're not. If you're not a millionaire, don't try to act like one. If you're still figuring out your career, own it. Confidence doesn't come from what you have. It comes from accepting who you are and striving to improve. There's a psychological advantage to authenticity. When you're genuine, you make her feel safe. She knows that what she sees is what she gets. This openness encourages her to be genuine in return, deepening the connection between you. It's a powerful cycle. The more authentic you are, the more connected she feels, and the more trust she places in you. Let's not forget, authenticity also filters out the wrong people. By being real, you naturally attract women who align with your values and repel those who don't. This saves you time, energy, and potential heartbreak. The bottom line is this: authenticity is your superpower. It frees you from the exhausting act of pretending and allows you to build connections that are real and lasting. When you show her your true self, you don't just win her over, you inspire her to do the same. Now that we've explored the power of authenticity, let's dive into the next skill that many men avoid but is absolutely essential: vulnerability. Number 3, vulnerability. Open up, but strategically. Let's face it, vulnerability is not a word most men are comfortable with. For years, we've been conditioned to believe that showing vulnerability is a sign of weakness. Real men don't cry. Keep your emotions in check. Sound familiar? The truth, however, is that vulnerability, when done right, is one of the most powerful tools you can use to build a deep emotional connection with a woman. Here's why. Vulnerability signals trust. When you open up about your fears, challenges, or even past mistakes, you're telling her, "I trust you enough to let my guard down." And trust is the foundation of any meaningful relationship. But here's the catch. There's a fine line between being vulnerable and oversharing. Let me explain with a story. I once knew a guy, let's call him Tom, who had just started dating an amazing woman. On their second date, he felt comfortable enough to share a deeply personal story about his childhood struggles. She listened, sympathized, and appreciated his honesty. Encouraged by her response, Tom kept sharing more struggles, more pain, more details. By the third date, she began to feel overwhelmed. She later told him, "It's not that I don't care, but it feels like too much, too soon." Tom's mistake wasn't in being vulnerable. It was in overloading her with emotions without giving her the chance to reciprocate. Vulnerability should be a two-way street. When you open up, you create space for her to do the same, but it has to feel natural and balanced. So how can you be vulnerable without crossing the line into oversharing? Start small. Share something meaningful, but not overwhelming. For example, talk about a time you faced a challenge at work and how you overcame it. Pause and see how she reacts. If she leans in, asks questions, or shares something about herself, it's a sign that she's engaging with your story. Here's a psychological trick that works wonders. When sharing, show a little hesitation. Say something like, "I don't usually talk about this, but I feel like I can trust you." That hesitation creates intrigue and makes her feel special. She'll think, "Wow, he doesn't open up to just anyone. This must mean something." It's a subtle but effective way to deepen your connection. At the same time, be mindful of what you share. Vulnerability isn't about dumping all your problems on her. It's about sharing in a way that adds value to the relationship. Think of it like opening a book. Give her one chapter at a time, not the entire story. This keeps her interested and allows the connection to grow naturally. From a Stoic perspective, vulnerability is not a weakness but a strength. The Stoics believed in self-awareness and the courage to face life's challenges openly. By sharing your struggles, you're not only building a bond with her, but also reinforcing your own resilience. As Seneca said, "It is courage that allows us to accept ourselves as we are." Now, let's talk about what happens when you're too closed off. If you never show vulnerability, she may feel like you're emotionally unavailable or distant. This can create a wall between you, making it harder for her to connect. On the other hand, being too open too quickly can overwhelm her and make her question your emotional stability. Balance is key. Here's the takeaway. Vulnerability is about trust, timing, and balance. When done right, it shows her that you're not just another man hiding behind a tough exterior. You're someone who's confident enough to be real. And that's the kind of connection that lasts. With vulnerability covered, let's move to the next critical skill, emotional attentiveness. Number 4, emotional attentiveness. Listen, really listen. When was the last time you truly listened to someone, not just waiting for your turn to speak, but actually hearing their words, their emotions, and their intentions? If you can't remember, don't worry, you're not alone. Many men struggle with this, and it's one of the biggest barriers to building an emotional connection with women. Here's the problem. Most people listen to respond, not to understand, and women can sense this instantly. When she's sharing something important and you're half listening, nodding absent-mindedly, or worse, interrupting her with your own story, she feels unheard and undervalued. Over time, this creates emotional distance, and no amount of charm or effort can bridge that gap. Let me share a story. A man named Chris was dating someone he really liked. She once shared a personal story about her struggles growing up in a strict household. Chris listened halfway, but quickly shifted the conversation to his own childhood experiences. He thought he was building a connection by sharing something similar, but instead, she felt dismissed. Later, she told him, "You're so focused on your own stories that you never really hear mine." That conversation was a turning point for Chris. He realized that listening isn't about jumping in with your own experiences. It's about making the other person feel understood. And when you can make a woman feel understood, you've already created a bond most men never achieve. Emotional attentiveness is about staying present and genuinely tuning into what she's sharing. When she's talking, put away distractions. No phones, no glancing at the TV, no mental rehearsals of your response. Give her your undivided attention. Acknowledge her feelings by reflecting them back to her. For example, if she says, "Work has been so stressful lately," respond with, "That sounds tough. What's been the hardest part for you?" This shows that you're not just hearing her words, but also understanding her experience. Repeating key points from her story is another powerful way to show you're engaged. If she mentions a conflict with her boss, you can summarize, "So you're saying your boss has been piling extra work on you and it's been overwhelming." This small action reassures her that you're truly listening. It's not about offering solutions, but showing her that her feelings and experiences matter to you. When you ask thoughtful follow-up questions, you encourage her to open up even more. If she shares something deeply personal, you might say, "How did that experience shape the way you see things now?" This creates a safe space for her to dive deeper into her emotions and trust you with them. From a psychological perspective, being a good listener builds a sense of connection that words alone can't achieve. It makes her feel valued, respected, and understood, qualities that stand out in a world where many people are too self-absorbed to truly listen. Emotional attentiveness isn't about grand gestures. It's about the small, consistent actions that make her feel heard and important. Here's the takeaway. Listening isn't just a skill, it's an art. When you master emotional attentiveness, you're not only showing her that you care, but also setting yourself apart as a man who understands the importance of connection. And that's a quality she won't forget. With emotional attentiveness in place, let's explore the next trait that will solidify your bond: emotional resilience. Number 5. Emotional resilience. Be her rock. Life is full of challenges, and relationships are no exception. There will be moments of stress, unexpected obstacles, and emotional turbulence. In these moments, the way you respond defines not just who you are as a man, but also the strength of your connection with her. Women are instinctively drawn to men who can remain composed under pressure, men who exude calmness even when the world feels chaotic. This is emotional resilience, the ability to weather life's storms without losing your center. Picture this. A couple faces an unexpected crisis, a financial setback, a family issue, or even a health scare. While she's understandably overwhelmed, he panics, complains, or lashes out in frustration. Instead of being her anchor, he becomes another source of stress. Contrast that with a man who stays calm, listens to her concerns, and offers thoughtful reassurance. He doesn't need to have all the answers, but his steady presence alone is enough to make her feel supported. Which man do you think she'll feel safer and more connected to? Emotional resilience isn't about suppressing your feelings or pretending everything is fine when it's not. It's about acknowledging the challenges you face and approaching them with a clear, level-headed mindset. Women admire men who can stay grounded because it creates a sense of stability in the relationship. It tells her, no matter what happens, I'm here and we'll figure it out together. This quality is deeply rooted in Stoicism. The Stoics taught that while we can't control the events around us, we can control our responses to them. Marcus Aurelius once wrote, "You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength." Emotional resilience is about mastering this principle. It's not about being unshakable. It's about being adaptable, staying composed, and showing her that you're a partner she can depend on. Building emotional resilience starts with self-awareness. When you're faced with a stressful situation, pause and take a moment to assess your emotions. Ask yourself, am I reacting out of fear, anger, or frustration? How can I approach this more constructively? This pause allows you to respond thoughtfully rather than impulsively. Practice this in your daily life, whether it's dealing with traffic, handling criticism at work, or navigating a disagreement with her. It's also important to communicate your emotions in a way that strengthens the connection. For example, instead of saying, "This is too much, I can't handle it," try, "This is challenging, but let's work through it together." This subtle shift in language changes the dynamic. Instead of adding to her stress, you're showing her that you're willing to face difficulties side by side. Here's another way to demonstrate emotional resilience. Offer solutions instead of amplifying problems. If she's upset about something, don't immediately jump into fix-it mode unless she asks for it. Sometimes, simply saying, "I'm here for you and I know we'll get through this," is all she needs to feel supported. Resilience isn't just about action, it's also about presence. From a psychological perspective, emotional resilience fosters a sense of safety and security in a relationship. When she sees that you can handle challenges with grace, she feels more confident in trusting you with her emotions and vulnerabilities. This creates a cycle of mutual support, where both of you feel empowered to face life's ups and downs together. Remember, resilience isn't about perfection. You don't need to have all the answers or be the strongest person in the room. What matters is your willingness to show up, stay calm, and work through challenges as a team. When you embody emotional resilience, you're not just building a connection, you're laying the foundation for a partnership that can weather any storm. Now that we've explored the power of resilience, let's move to the next critical aspect of building emotional connection: purpose-driven actions. Number 6. Purpose-driven actions. Show direction in life. Women are naturally drawn to men who have a clear sense of purpose. It's not about being rich, famous, or having everything figured out. It's about knowing where you're going and having the determination to get there. A man with purpose radiates confidence and focus, qualities that create an irresistible aura of stability and ambition. In contrast, a man without direction often comes across as aimless or complacent, leaving her wondering if he's capable of leading himself, let alone a relationship. Imagine this. You're on a date and she asks about your goals or dreams. You pause, stumble, or give a vague answer like, "I don't really know, I'm just figuring things out." While honesty is important, this response might make her question your drive. Now, imagine a different scenario. She asks the same question, and you confidently say, "I'm working on building my own business. It's challenging, but I'm excited about where it's heading." Even if you're not where you want to be yet, that sense of purpose is magnetic. It shows her that you're proactive, focused, and striving for something greater. Purpose-driven actions are not just about impressing her, they're about living a fulfilling life. When you're pursuing goals that matter to you, you naturally exude passion and energy. This doesn't mean you have to have grand ambitions. Your purpose could be as simple as being the best at your job, mastering a hobby, or contributing to your community. What matters is that you're actively working towards something that gives your life meaning. From a Stoic perspective, living with purpose is essential to achieving a meaningful existence. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one." This means aligning your actions with your values and focusing on what truly matters. For a Stoic, purpose isn't just about achieving goals, it's about the journey of self-improvement and contribution. To demonstrate purpose in your life, start by identifying what drives you. What are your passions? What goals make you feel alive? Once you've identified these, take consistent steps toward them, no matter how small. For example, if your goal is to learn a new skill, dedicate time each week to practice. If you're building a career, set short-term and long-term milestones to track your progress. When you share your purpose with a woman, do so with genuine enthusiasm. Avoid coming across as boastful or self-centered. Instead, focus on the passion behind your pursuits. For instance, instead of saying, "I'm starting a business to make a lot of money," say, "I'm starting a business because I want to create something meaningful that helps people." This shift in perspective not only shows your ambition but also highlights your deeper values. Purpose-driven actions also have a psychological impact on women. They create a sense of admiration and inspire trust. A woman wants to know that the man she's with has a vision for his life and is actively working to make it a reality. This doesn't mean you need to have every detail figured out. What matters is that you're making progress and staying true to your goals. At the same time, living with purpose naturally filters out distractions. When you're focused on your goals, you're less likely to be swayed by trivial pursuits or superficial relationships. This discipline and clarity make you stand out as a high-value man, someone who knows what he wants and isn't afraid to pursue it. Here's the key takeaway. Purpose is not about perfection, it's about progress. When you live with direction and determination, you not only attract respect and admiration from women, but also build a life that you're proud of. It's this combination of ambition and authenticity that makes you truly magnetic. With purpose-driven actions in place, let's move to the final skill that ties everything together: attentiveness. Number 7. Attentiveness. Make her feel seen and valued. In a world where distractions are everywhere, attentiveness has become a rare and valuable trait. Many men think they're paying attention when they're really just going through the motions, nodding along, throwing in a "that's nice," or half listening while scrolling through their phone. But here's the truth. Women can tell when you're not fully present, and nothing kills a connection faster than making her feel invisible. Attentiveness isn't just about hearing her words. It's about understanding her emotions and truly engaging with what she's sharing. Imagine she's telling you about a tough day at work. If your response is generic, like "that sounds rough," it might come across as indifferent. But if you follow up with something like, "What was the most frustrating part for you?" you're showing her that you're not just listening, you're invested. This kind of attentiveness makes her feel understood, which is the foundation of any deep emotional connection. Let's explore a simple yet powerful example. A man named Ryan was dating someone he really cared about. She once mentioned that her grandmother used to bake her favorite cookies whenever she felt down as a child. Ryan made a mental note of this. Weeks later, after she had a particularly stressful week, he surprised her with homemade cookies, saying, "I thought this might cheer you up, like your grandmother used to do." That small, thoughtful gesture spoke volumes about his attentiveness and left a lasting impression. Being attentive doesn't require grand gestures. It's often the little things that matter most. Remembering her favorite coffee order, recalling a story she shared weeks ago, or noticing when something feels off and asking, "You seem quiet today. Is everything okay?" These small actions show her that you're truly paying attention, not just waiting for your turn to speak. From a Stoic perspective, attentiveness aligns with the principle of mindfulness. The Stoics believed in being present in the moment and giving your full focus to the task or person at hand. Seneca once said, "Every man prefers belief to the exercise of judgment." When you're attentive, you're exercising judgment, not simply reacting. You're showing her that she matters enough to deserve your undivided attention. Attentiveness also involves active listening, which means engaging with what she's saying, not just passively nodding. When she shares something, repeat it back to her in your own words to confirm you understand. For example, if she says, "My boss keeps piling work on me, and it's overwhelming," you can respond with, "It sounds like your boss isn't respecting your boundaries. How has that been affecting you?" This simple act of reflecting her words back shows that you're not just hearing, but understanding her. Another crucial aspect of attentiveness is following through on what you learn. If she mentions an important date, like a family member's birthday or a work presentation, make a note of it and bring it up later. For instance, "How did your presentation go today? I was thinking about you." These moments of follow-up demonstrate genuine care and make her feel valued. Psychologically, attentiveness fosters trust and deepens emotional intimacy. It signals that you're not just interested in her as a romantic partner, but also as a person. When a woman feels seen and heard, she's more likely to open up, creating a cycle of connection that strengthens over time. In contrast, failing to be attentive can leave her feeling unimportant, which can slowly erode the bond between you. Here's the bottom line. Attentiveness is about presence. It's about putting down your phone, silencing your internal distractions, and giving her the gift of your full attention. When you do this consistently, you create a safe and nurturing space where she feels valued and understood. That's a quality that sets high-value men apart. Now that we've covered attentiveness, let's wrap up by tying all these skills together into a powerful conclusion. Building a deep emotional connection with a woman isn't about knowing the right lines or mastering some secret formula. It's about becoming a man who embodies timeless qualities: integrity, authenticity, vulnerability, emotional attentiveness, resilience, purpose, and presence. These aren't just skills, they're ways of being that elevate your relationships and your life as a whole. Let's take a moment to reflect on what we've covered. Integrity is the foundation of trust. When you say you'll do something and follow through, you show her that she can rely on you. Authenticity allows her to see the real you, not a version of you crafted to impress. Vulnerability builds a bridge of trust, showing her that you're strong enough to open up. Emotional attentiveness ensures she feels seen and valued, while resilience demonstrates that you're the steady presence she can count on in difficult times. Living with purpose adds depth and direction to your life, making you magnetic to the right kind of woman. Finally, attentiveness ties everything together by creating moments that make her feel understood and cherished. These skills don't just help you connect with women, they transform you into a high-value man. A man who isn't just attractive, but respected. A man who isn't just charming, but deeply admired. And the best part? These qualities aren't reserved for a select few. They're available to any man willing to put in the effort to grow and improve. Here's the truth. Most men settle for surface-level relationships because they never take the time to develop these traits. But you're different. You're here because you want something more. You're ready to do the work, to embody these principles, and to create connections that last a lifetime. That's what sets you apart. Now, let me leave you with this. Becoming the man you're meant to be isn't just about attracting the right woman. It's about becoming someone you're proud of when you look in the mirror. It's about living with integrity, purpose, and the courage to show your true self. And when you do that, the right people will naturally gravitate toward you. So what's your next step? Start small. Pick one of these skills and commit to practicing it today. Whether it's being more present, opening up, or following through on your promises, every step forward brings you closer to the man you're striving to be. And if you found this content valuable, don't forget to subscribe to the Stoic Golden Rule for more insights like this. Together, we're building a community of high-value men who lead with purpose and live with integrity. Now it's your turn. Go out there and make it happen.